I'm Shamani Langell, founder of ABC Yoga Club, Yoga for Kids here in Council Bluffs, Iowa. ABC Yoga Club is a really fun yoga program for children. It's non-competitive and it's non-judgmental. It's a really safe place for kids to have fun, play around with yoga, learn to control themselves, learn to stay calm, focused, and really learn some life skills. But in a really cool and integrative format. Yoga is awesome for kids because not only does it help them keep healthy, but it also literally helps their digestive system, their nervous system, their respiratory system, and it helps to keep them calm and healthy, keep them focused, and it gives them tools for living. The reason why I think yoga is awesome for kids is because in yoga, it's the only place on earth where a kid cannot be wrong, and truly the effort is the only thing that matters. I don't know another place where kids are completely safe to really just try things, to take risks without worrying about whether they do it exactly right, or rather to get really empowered just by knowing that they tried hard. The reason why I created ABC Yoga Club as a person specifically for kids as opposed to sometimes people like to take their kids to an adult yoga class, is because the point of yoga is to bring together the mind, the body, and the spirit. Now for adults, the way that we do that is by separating by the stimuli in the environment around us. So we need soft music and dim lights and calm easiness. But with kids, it's just the opposite. The way that kids are in their element is when they can play and when they can be free and when they can just really let loose. And so, unlike within the confines and constructs of, here's the structure, deal with it, get serious, everything's serious all the time. Technically, children can start yoga as early as 6 weeks. And I know that might sound a little bit weird. Obviously, they're not going to be standing up and doing a tree pose, but it's a lot of facilitated movement just to help them with their coordination, with the digestion, with the nervous system. But if you're looking for a class that a child can do on his or her own, separate from a mommy and me class format, I would say about 2 to 3 years old, depending on the maturity of the child, is a great time to introduce a child to yoga. Just know that even the best 2-year-olds, in general, will only follow maybe 30 to 60% of the class, and that's okay. They learn a lot by osmosis. By the time they're 7 years old, they'll pretty much be in the practice, doing it all very, very, very comfortably, and ready for a lifetime of practice ahead of them. When choosing a yoga program for your child, the first thing I'd recommend is to find out how the teacher's been trained. I recommend that they have a full adult certification, in which would be a 200-hour or more certification, so that they really know their yoga that they're imparting to your children. They know how to do it safely, they know how to do it correctly, and they know how to instill good habits. And then once you establish that, ask to set up a trial class. It may or may not be free, but at least that way you can see if your child gels with the teacher. And I think ultimately that is the most important thing, that the child and the teacher can relate to each other and they enjoy each other's company, and that they can establish a relationship that'll last for a long time. Of course, I highly recommend that when you ask the teacher about their training, that you ask if they have a children's certification as well. This is something that they have in addition to their 200-hour training for their continuing education. And what a children's certification is going to do is teach them how to change an adult practice into a kid's practice. With some teachers, it's mostly just, here's down dog, now bark in it. But in kids yoga training, it's, here's a downward dog, now here's 100 fun ways to do it. If you don't have a frame of reference, ask the teacher where they got their certification, and then look it up online. You'll probably have a pretty good sense as to whether the program is legitimate, as to whether it's worldwide, as to whether people respect that program, and if it's a well put together program. If you get a good sense of their certification program, you'll probably be on the right track. I would say that the main thing that parents need to think about when they're signing their child up for yoga is why they're signing their child up for the yoga. A lot of times it's maybe because their child has attention deficit disorder, or maybe because they have misbehavior issues or anger issues. It's really important to ask the teacher if they know how to deal with these special needs and if they can tailor their class to meet this child's special needs. Beyond that, again, always ask your teacher's certification. You want to make sure that you're working with somebody who's qualified. And if you had the chance to observe them, that's the best way to know. What is their experience with teaching, and how much have they been teaching? Because a lot of time, you're going to get teachers who don't really know so well the alignment, or don't really know so well the philosophy, and what they're imparting to your kids isn't really what they should be learning. So it helps if you have some sort of framework and what a yoga practice should be. so that when you observe it, you can see the differential between what's being taught and what yoga actually is. I'm sure that the most rewarding work that I and my staff is working with special needs children. When we're working with special needs, mostly what's going on is getting really intuitive with first of all what the kids need and what their capabilities are, but also a physiologically understanding of what their capabilities are. But at the same time, we try to treat the special needs kid just as we treat a normally developing child. I think that a lot of times these children are in therapy all day long and everything is so serious with them. And so our goal is to make our program fun and special needs as playful as program as a typically developing child. So that the kid can have a place where, yes, they're getting the therapy, and yet at the same time, they're allowed to be a child and have fun. We work with all types of special needs. We work with kids with autism, muscular dystrophy, Down syndrome, paralysis, borderline personality, anything that you can think of, whether it's mental, we work with all these things. I do recommend that private lessons are ideal with special needs children because the way the class can be really specifically tailored to their own therapy and their own growth. But if necessary, it's good to put special needs children in a group with normally developing children so that they have the peer support and the peer modeling. And also it's hard for a teacher to really pay the requisite amount of time and attention to a whole room of children with special needs because you want to make sure your child is getting exactly what he or she needs. So ultimately, one of the best things about yoga is that the kids who practice regularly and practice the breathing, they do better in school, it's true. They focus better. They behave better. They do better in sports. They're better at memorizing lines for drama. They enjoy reading more. Anything that requires focus, concentration, and calmness. It'll help them with test-taking skills. It'll help them for performance in difficult situations. We teach them coping skills. We teach them calming skills. And we teach them concentration skills. And we teach them how to be good human beings. I love teaching yoga to kids because not only is it fun to play with the kids and have a great time with them, but honestly and truly, I know I'm making an impact on their lives, and there's nothing more empowering than that. Thank you, and I hope to see you in one of my ABC Yoga Club classes, Yoga for Kids.